welcome back to Hooligans Pitch. I went back and listened to the finger guns, and it was very loud. I apologize. Did not realize I was shooting so loudly.
As you say that, I'm bringing down your volume just a smidge, because I forgot. But we should sound okay. I think we're going to be good.
Yeah. Well, here we are, back again. Group stage of the Euros is done, so of course we got to wrap this thing up. A lot to go over, but before we forget, what's on the table tonight for your drink?
It's a repeat. Space Camper.
Space Camper.
Nice, easy, local brewery. I got 15 of them from Sam's Club, so.
Oh.
Do it. Sam's Club doesn't do good beers. And
really?
Or at least like craft beers or small brewery beers. So when I saw this in there, I was like, yeah, it's a easy purchase.
Easy. Well, for me, I went with the Kirkland Margarita. So it was on sale. You got to jump on the sale sometimes, especially in the nice summer weather. A margarita.
Is that a Hooligan's Pitch glass, Chad?
Yeah, it sure is. I don't know if it'll show too well with this, but
you got some content. Oh yeah, I see our logo on there.
It's on there. It's etched on there professionally.
Yeah.
So
our store's coming. Yeah.
Get that Hoolie merch going.
Get your Hoolie swag.
Hoolie swag. I like that. Anyway,
let's get to it.
Let's get to these groups.
Group A? Do you want to just go alphabetically?
Group A, yeah. Let's just go right down the list here.
Alpha. Well, I think we would have thought Germany was going to win this group prior to the tournament starting. I think we were probably a little unsure just because of their lack of consistency in the World Cup and kind of post their 2014 World Cup victory, right? It's always kind of been this, I don't want to say, golden generation to new generation, but I feel like in 2014 Germany, at all ages, right? We saw them killing it in the Olympics. They had, I believe, Füllkrug in there as a young kid, and now he's in his 30s.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That team was so stacked when they were young. Yeah. Timo Werner, too, who's not on the team now, but like that team was solid. And now we're kind of seeing it blossom a little bit as those guys are aging into like their young, late 20s, young 30s. But then they got this kind of new generation too in there with Musiala, who's basically the German Bellingham, if we really want to compare the two, which I do think we'll get there. I think that's going to happen. Is that'll be the kind of the two guys in the mid that are rivaling each other. But hey, credit to Germany. Most goals in the group stage round with 8. It's got to be it. 8 goals for them.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean,
inflated, maybe.
Well, yeah, probably a little bit in there, but I think even look at their games against Switzerland and Hungary, and I don't think they ever looked too strained.
No.
I never really felt like they were. I didn't feel like the Scotland game was an anomaly, right? Like, sure, scoring as much as they did is probably more an anomaly, but I felt like the other games, they were still pretty well in control. I was kind of surprised, honestly, to see them still put out like a full-strength team against Switzerland.
Yeah.
In that last round, I thought, they're already through. Maybe rotate heavily, just gets everyone some minutes. Heading into the round of 16, but I don't know. I guess it could be one of those like. Just consistent play time for players is, a good performance kind of like breeds more good performances and form. So, but I think no overall surprises for me in this group. Like, I felt fairly confident Switzerland would be number 2. Hungary was just kind of a question mark for me, but.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I will say Switzerland came out a lot better than I thought they would.
It's true.
For them being second in the group, I wouldn't say that's a surprise, but I didn't think it would be a strong. Like, they looked really strong. They held their own against Germany. I think both of them were pretty content. Like, if they were to play each other again in the knockout, way different energy than that game just played. Rightfully so, right? They played it safe. but a great game nonetheless. I mean, both those teams, I would argue, Germany's probably top 3 and Switzerland's close behind, maybe top 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So I like Group A. I thought it was competitive all the way down to the end, especially in the Scotland-Hungary game too. That was a wild finish.
Yeah.
You know, Hungary celebrated like they were going to make the knockouts after that game, which would have been a great story if they did, but you know, they just fell short. There's no way you're going to, it's hard to get in with 3 points, and you know, teams with 4 points didn't even get in, so it makes it tricky.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Hungary was a little bit of a frustrating watch for me. I think, like, I don't know a lot about all their players, but the players I do know on that team have a good amount of talent, and I think they weren't either able to get those guys the ball enough in like threatening positions, or they just didn't really gel together well enough. I mean, like, one of your big names on there is Slabosly, right? But he's still pretty young, and you know, he's good, but I think he definitely needed a little bit more support around him to really try and take this team to the next level, which just didn't really happen. But you know, you made it to the Euros. That's still a pretty good accomplishment. And
yeah, and I will say, the way Szoboszlai played, it just looks so different from the way he's playing with Liverpool. It's way more on the ball. It's way more confidence. I mean, he's the clear leader of this team.
Yeah.
And I wish that would just rub off on Liverpool a little bit more. Like, I could definitely see him being our captain, but he excels when the ball is kind of with him for a majority of that, a majority of the field, right? Like, and with Liverpool, there's so much talent there. The ball is almost, I don't want to say, here's the ball, do your thing, here's the ball, do your thing, but last year it kind of felt like that at times. It didn't look like, this Hungary team is built around Szoboszlai, right?
Yeah.
And that's when he's at his best, that's what a team looks like. So I'm curious, you know, what Slot will do with him, but I like the way he played. It makes me feel confident in him as a you know, domestic player.
I think it's, you know, probably a good time for him to have come into Liverpool. Like, yeah, playing under Klopp was great and would have been great for more years too, but I think just getting someone in there with new ideas, you know, we'll be able to see Szoboszlai in a different light and maybe give him this more kind of ball controller role. And I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see him play a little bit more advanced in the mid rather than. I felt like he kind of got caught a little too deep sometimes with Liverpool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's all I got for Group A, really. So.
I do want to shout out Scotland. I really wanted them. You know, Hungary and Scotland, I like them both, but
yeah,
I was thinking this was going to be the time Scotland would finally make it out of group stage. But I want to say they've been stuck in group stage since the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like had their first game not been against Germany and not gone as poorly as it did, I think they might have had a little bit more of a chance. Then, you know, Tierney went out injured, which,
yeah, bummer.
You know, not the most important player in that team, but certainly one of the most experienced and a big enough name. So I think, like, circumstances just kind of went against them a little bit, but I mean, the fight that they were showing in these games, even after that Germany game and that game against Hungary, like, they're out there fighting, trying to get anything out of it. So, you know, I got to commend them for that, and not just getting destroyed on match day one and falling apart. You know,
they had a chance to beat Hungary. They took a touch. They took a touch off of their chest in the box instead of just hitting it first time.
Yeah.
And I guarantee, I don't remember who that was that took that touch. McGregor, maybe. Or Gilmore. I don't remember who it was, but
maybe Gilmore. Yeah.
You know, looking back at that, I 100% believe they wish they would have hit that first time. Takes a touch on the chest, ball comes to his feet, he gets tackled. Hungary's off to the races, and which I do want. One before we leave Group A, that goal that Hungary scored was so close to offside.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
His name is, the goal scorer was Showboat. which is a great last name, not spelt anything like how I say it, but that is how you say it, Showboat.
Showboat, okay.
I thought he was off, man. And they didn't really look that into it. And I freeze framed it. I drew my own lines. I got kind of into it. And I was kind of head scratching that it wasn't not even like a talking point.
No, yeah, it did kind of get breezed by, which was surprising, considering the possible ramifications it could have had to the table and who potentially moves on.
And we've been
to the next
so
round.
thorough. We've been so the officiating in Euros has been pretty good. There's been a couple of instances where I've said, that's could have been a foul, here and there. I like what the refs are doing. I like how they're only allowing captains to come up to talk to them.
I do just real quick on that. I think they got to let the people involved in the foul talk too. Because I've seen a few times where like someone gets tackled and they start to complain, and the ref's like, "I'm going to give you the yellow." And it's like, I think if you're involved in it, you should get to say your piece, of course, like respectfully and all that. And then I think just captains is fine and probably how it should be anyway. But
I agree with that. I think I want to say the refs have been doing that at least a little bit, allowing at least like a second or two. But the mob, no, there is no mob around the referee right now. The other time I didn't like is when Donnarumma came up to talk to the ref as the Italian captain. And I guess if the goalkeeper is a captain, they automatically designate a field player to be like a co-captain. And that's the only person that's allowed to talk to the ref, which that I understand. But at the same time,
I think they should just every team should just have captain and vice captain like they probably do anyway, but just designate that on the fields, so okay, at least these two guys for sure can talk to the ref, and if it becomes a point where those two guys are hounding the ref enough to almost be the mob, then okay, like tell them to back off and give them a card if you need to, but I think the Donnarumma one is just kind of silly because he is the captain, but
he didn't even come in hot. He just came in going, what was that? And then boom, the guy was like, what?
I am glad though, because when I first heard about that kind of new ruling, I thought it was going to be some dumb second yellows that are just reactionary from players, and then the refs are like, well, this is the new rule, so see you later. But I'm glad that it hasn't turned that way yet, at least.
Players have been pretty good, it seems like.
Well, I think too that just the overall officiating has been pretty good and fairly consistent. They're certainly letting the game flow a little bit more. There's certainly some challenges that I've seen that was like, oh, that's going to be a foul, and then play just continues like it's nothing, which is great for the most part, but then we shit on VAR all the time because we're stuck in English VAR, but the VAR process throughout this I think has been pretty much exactly what I would want from VAR.
Yeah, there was only one time when Anthony Taylor was VAR was looking at a play. Anthony Taylor was involved. It was taking a little bit too long, and Anthony Taylor just... I'm not really sure what happens with VAR, if they either are asking the official to look at it or they just override and say, no, we got this. I'm not really sure how that works out, because VAR... It seems like VAR in the Premier League, they're not there to rule the game, right? It's still up to the head official. Yeah. It kind of felt like the opposite in some of these cases. Not a ton. It wasn't anything where I was egregiously like, oh my God, why isn't Anthony Taylor looking at this? I was just a little confused why he wouldn't. When it was taking a bit of time for VAR to make a decision. I don't remember what game it was. It might have been the Portugal game when Ronaldo got grabbed. I don't remember if it was that one. Again, I watched almost every single group stage game, so these are really... really all over the place in my brain.
Together now.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah. But, I think there's certainly still room for improvement, but this is, I think, a huge step in the right direction.
Yep.
If the English refs will bring this back home, which we're getting semi-automated offside, so at least we're getting that. But I don't know about the rest.
Bar's coming home.
Yeah.
All right, Group B.
Group B. Fun group, honestly.
Another group that gave us some drama all the way down to the end.
Yeah.
I mean, the highlight game has to be Croatia, Italy, and the heartbreaker, right?
Like I was watching that, and then I don't remember who scores the goal, but to have the balls you got to have to take a shot like that and hit it perfectly, and you know it all come out as you visioned it, like, is crazy. Like you see, you know, teams obviously will push for the goal they need at the end, but most of the time they play rather safe and, you know, just cross the ball in because there's 3-4 guys in there, whatever. Nope, just this guy lined it up top of the box, corner of the box, really, and curls it in like it was nothing, too.
Great hit. And what threw Croatia off in that instance was the center back for Italy, Calafari. They gave him a ton of space to just run forward, and his touches were awful. Big touches, like 6-foot touches off his feet. But he took maybe 3 strides and made 15 yards of progress.
Yeah,
and that allowed, I think, this space to open up for I might botch his name, Matea Zaccagni, to score the right foot banger and break Croatian hearts.
Oof.
I mean, I won't lie, I was kind of like, oh man, I thought Croatia had this. They had it. And I do think they played better for a majority of that game.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you know, Croatia's whole tournament had been pretty rough, and it looked like this was, I think, the first game where I felt like they were kind of more like getting it together.
Yep.
You know, it still wasn't perfect by any means. I don't think they would have gone much further, but, you know, it looked like their game, and probably should have been, but I think, you know, they maybe were a little bit tired, maybe just figured, you know, it's the final seconds of the game, basically, like, checked out for a split second, and unfortunately...
If they would have won that game, Chad, they would have played Switzerland.
Yeah, so they would have went through. I think Switzerland probably takes that game just based on performances here, but I don't know. We've seen Croatia in the knockout rounds before. They take every single game to 120 and
they're the Walking
and
Dead,
keep moving.
Man. They're the Walking Dead. They don't run. They're always there. And they miss PKs and score 30 seconds later.
Now, did you see the man of the match photo they made Modric take?
Oh man, was it sad?
It's so sad. He's holding his man of the match photo. He's got an Italian shirt that he, you know, swapped with one of the players. He looks dead in his eyes. Like, this poor guy. Just let him go home.
Yeah,
but you know, it's a bummer too, because, like, you know, he's what, 38 or something, 36, 38. Probably his last tournament. I mean, the way that he plays and how much he wants to keep playing, he might find his way into the World Cup. But, you know, bummer to not get out of the groups here. And, yeah, I don't know. It's not the Croatia I expected at the start.
And not the Italy I expected at the start.
No, yeah, that too.
You know, like, they came out strong against Albania. They had their mishap, of course, that we'll never forget. Fastest goal ever scored in Euros. But take that away, right? Really solid game. Pretty solid game against Spain, too. I mean, that was I will say Spain controlled that game, but not by a ton, right? They won off an own goal. So, and then to come out against Croatia here, I was thinking, like, are y'all imposters? Because... Or did Croatia just not play well in the first 2 games? I think all that could be true.
Yeah.
If I'm Italy, though, my fear is scoring goals. They scored.
Yeah.
How many goals? 3 goals here, and 1 came at the last second of a game, and 2 was against Albania. That's kind of rough.
Yeah, they certainly didn't impress me too much. Like,
No, sadly.
I don't know. I think there's some good names on that team that I think just maybe need to step up and kind of take charge of the game a little bit more. Like, you know, Barella had a great shot and goal, but like I need him to maybe just do that more because your strikers aren't really doing it. You don't have a um, oh, who was that?
Skamaka.
Yeah, but like their striker from a couple years ago. I think he's like a smaller guy, but
Oh, yeah. He played for Dortmund. I think he's on Lazio now. Oh man,
yeah,
what's his name? It's gonna drive us crazy.
yeah.
Not Balotelli, I'm assuming.
I mean, if you want to bring back Balotelli, I'm on board for that. But
It would be tight.
yeah, yeah. Oh wow,
Well,
I can't.
what about Cisse though? I mean, this guy was supposed to be, he played great last Euros. He's been pretty invisible right now.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're maybe just trying to play a little too safe in the groups here. Like, didn't want to give up goals, but didn't necessarily want to commit too much to the attack throughout the game until like, if they were maybe forced to, if they hadn't come across a goal. Which is, a fair enough strategy in the group stage, but I think you kind of want to get the goal scorers scoring and get them warm and ready for these knockout rounds where you don't really, I mean, you can't draw, right? So you got to get your goals or you kind of gamble at the end.
Immobile.
Ah, there he is. yeah. Like Skamaka is a name, but he came to West Ham, didn't impress, and went out on loan to somewhere. But
Atalanta.
Oh yeah, he did go to Atalanta. So yeah,
he had a really good year.
So he did well there, but then every time I saw him here, it wasn't clicking.
You're right.
Yeah, but I mean, look, I think Spain was my biggest surprise here. We talked in last episode that they were always kind of hit or miss since like the 2010 World Cup, basically, and it wasn't the Morata show that I thought it might be after that first game, but they're getting the goals from a few different places, and they just look like they're all on the same page, and everything's kind of clicking as you would want it to in the group stages.
Here's how I feel about Spain. I think they're the best team right now in the Euros, but I don't think they'll win. I know that's kind of redundant.
No, I get it.
I think they have a ton of talent. I just think they need a little bit more time together. Destroying Spain, not destroying, 3-0 against Croatia in the first game. The 1-0 against Italy on an own goal, that's my worry, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the third game, we'll kind of call that a wash because they didn't play all their starters there.
Yeah.
I think they have a ton of talent. I really do think they have the best talent on the field overall, everyone put together. I just think there's a couple other teams in there when it comes out to these knockouts. Mostly Germany. I think Germany has like that killer instinct right now. And France, because they have the best player in the world. I think those are the two teams I would put above to win Euros. But Spain, man, like super fun to watch, right? Youthful, energetic. Yamal is just a blast to watch, and he's only 16. I pray
that touch, the touch he takes the ball between the two defenders as it's coming down. What is that?
I will give him my knees if he gets hurt. Please keep this kid healthy. Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean,
so good.
I think you make a good point though. Like they are very fun to watch and are obviously pretty good, but Yeah, I guess the game against Italy was just kind of a letdown. Like that's your first kind of big test, and
they won.
You passed, yeah, but like not convincingly.
Not yet. I still think they're missing that killer.
Yeah.
Like that absolute, I'm gonna get this ball and put you away. I think they're close. I think if we look at other teams, they kind of have that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yamal could be that, right? He's doing this at 16. If his trajectory can kind of maintain this way, and yeah, he not get hurt, and he's already got the confidence, which is great to see, and now he'll just get stronger and kind of fill out more and gain the experience in what to do in some situations, and that kid's going to be a real danger, I think, in the coming years.
Yep, couldn't agree more. So Spain has Georgia. So
I think that'll be a fun one.
I think it will be too. I think we probably agreed if Georgia upsets Spain here, we would be shocked.
I'm on the Georgia train then. We're going all the way.
It's a bold claim. I will not be taking Georgia. However, if Germany beats Denmark, we're going to see a Spain-Germany matchup pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that's honestly unfortunate because I would love to see these two teams play in the final.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, oh, that's not exactly the landing I would have wanted there. If not final, I wanted, deep, like semifinal, real big decider kind of game.
They got to get there first, but I mean,
yeah,
I think both those teams are set up for success.
Yeah, and I think it could be that, assuming Germany and Spain go through that game, I mean that the winner of that I think could go on to win the whole thing because you've now had a very strong test, pass it in whatever way that might be, and you kind of build off of that. Whereas some of these other matchups are, will be competitive, but I don't think at that same level that a Spain-Germany game would be.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Well, got to get there first.
Yeah.
Shall we get to the most boring group of all time? It's the truth. 7 goals in Group C.
Yeah, it's I mean, if I'm just looking at teams, I wouldn't expect a ton of goals to come from this group, but I would have at least expected some more excitement. Like, England gave me 3 great naps in this. Like,
okay, looking at the English games, which one was their best?
It's tough.
They're all so bad. Even their win wasn't great.
Yeah, I want to say maybe Denmark.
I agree with you, and I'm curious to your take. I'll give you mine if you want me to start with it.
Yeah. What's your take on this?
For 18 minutes, Chad, England looked like one of the best teams in most of Euros. Okay? 18 minutes. Harry Kane found the back of the net, easy tap in.
Oof.
They said we up 1-0.
They're cooking,
Let's all freeze. They held a freeze for the next 60 minutes, 75 minutes, roughly.
Yeah.
Allowing Denmark to, honestly, Denmark should have beat them.
Oh,
Way more opportunities. Disappointed.
With some better finishing, some better control. I think Denmark could have easily won that game. England's, like you said, looked great for 18 minutes and then turned it off and could not figure out how to turn it back on. it's just like, I know I made the joke after the first game against Serbia that, okay, they only won 1-0, and then, they kind of did the same thing there of like got their goal and didn't really play too much afterwards, but it was England being England, but like I didn't think this was going to be a 3-game stretch of England being England. I thought, Serbia not necessarily coming out to play as much, so they're sitting back, and you got to break that down. Denmark, I think certainly played a little bit more, definitely more into the second half too, when there was like all Denmark, but still just it kind of comes down, I think, to tactics and personnel, and what Southgate is doing with both of those.
I'm gonna give you a little more than just that. Landon Donovan, quoting Landon Donovan here.
Dang.
In the Portugal and Georgia game, he said sometimes it's not about who's on the pitch, it's about who wants it more on the pitch. And there is no one on this English team who looked like they wanted it. Honest truth. You know who did look like they wanted it?
In all 3 games, or
no. Yeah, I would say for the most part. You know who wanted it though? Cole Palmer and Eze and somewhat Trent. Trent's down in the dumps now.
I'll throw Ollie Watkins in there too.
Yeah,
he had a small cameo, but
energy.
They looked more alive.
There was movement, and God, Cole Palmer had probably their best chance on goal, probably the whole tournament, because Harry Kane's was a tap in. That's what's crazy. And Cole Palmer probably should have done better. He probably should have scored that.
He definitely should have done better. Yeah, he certainly didn't hit it, I think, as well as he would have wanted, or at least
he hit it okay.
Positioned as well. But yeah, but yeah, I think you're right. I think it almost feels like England went into this, the big like ego team of knowing that on paper they're better than Denmark, they're better than Slovenia, they're better than Serbia, and then got out there and you see it in sport all the time where the underdog team kind of has their day, and like, well, yeah, those 3 didn't really overtake England. They certainly, I think, outperformed them for vast majority of those matches, and frankly, that's unacceptable from a English perspective. Like, you have some of the best players in club football, right? You've got Harry Kane, who first year goes up to Bayern after however many years in England, and is the top goal scorer. I know you're on Bayern, you're getting much better chances than other people, but you're still putting them away fine, right?
32.
Yeah, like that's still a great number. That's Haaland's numbers. You're keeping up with the new young gun, right?
Buck.
Yeah, Phil Foden was voted Player of the Year. Bukayo Saka is. I think there's some bias for me, but I think he's one of the better performers in this team. In that, I think he played his role well, but I think his role was not maybe thought out well to best utilize what Saka can bring. Jude Bellingham, killer season with Real. Just went to Champions League and won it.
La Liga Player of the Year.
La Liga Player of the Year. He's exciting. He's getting goals. But is he a center attacking mid? He never was in my eyes. But that's where he's been playing this whole time. And yeah, he got the one goal, which was a good goal. But like, okay, and you can kind of find arguments like that all the way back. It's like, I don't know what happened in their like tactics talk and where they decided, we're gonna play this formation of trying to force all these big names on the fields, and that's it, make it happen. Like for me, I like the Trent in midfield experiments because I think his passing vision and passing accuracy and crossing is a big tool you can use. But to do that, you need a winger out there to make the deep runs so he can make those cross-field passes, right? Like, so many times when I was watching England, Foden starts on the left wing, it's not working out. Okay, he kind of drifts center, and he kind of drifts to the right, and now it's Foden and Saka on the same side. Kieran Trippier's the only dude on the left side. Like, that just can't really be happening.
I'm going to give you some minutes here. True 90 minutes.
Do.
No injury time. Okay. Eze, 21 minutes. Ollie Watkins, 20 minutes. Cole Palmer, 19 minutes. Anthony Gordon, 1 minute. Those guys are the spark plugs of this team.
Yeah.
Okay. When Conor Gallagher is getting 103 minutes, and Gallagher is like the utility guy, right?
He got 103?
He has 103 minutes so far.
Oh my God, I didn't realize he played that much.
Well, he got the start over Trent. He came in for Trent.
Yeah.
In the Denmark game. Trippier's at 264, unnaturally playing on the left. Mm-hmm. This team is just structured in a way it shouldn't be structured. You got Harry Kane dropping so far back, which we talked about prior to the tournament even beginning. We said Harry Kane can't be the old Harry Kane of England where he's taking corners and crossing the ball in or collecting the ball before the half line. Did I 100% could, maybe not 100. Well, give me a plus or minus here. He probably had a couple touches on the inside of his own half while playing for Bayern this year. A couple.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it, but I'm sure. Like, you're not getting 32 goals playing that way, right?
No. So what does that tell you? You know what it tells me? He don't trust none of them.
No, it was shades of him at Tottenham, right? Like, it wasn't going well in Tottenham games. Then he said, all right. He drops back. He grabs the ball. Luckily there, he has Son to work with. And they can work the ball up the pitch. And, like, that was Tottenham's bread and butter for years.
Man,
right?
If only England had a left wing who could sprint down the line and get more than 1 minute.
It's crazy.
Shocking. I hate this team. I hope they lose. And you know what's crazy? English
they really need to. Like, they... And, I feel bad for the English fans because they had last Euros where it was on home soil. They made it to the final. Everything was looking good. Didn't work out. Everyone's older now. We're not having 19-year-old Bukayo Saka take the final penalty, right? Like, everyone is more experienced. This team has now played together for multiple years, and it should have been at least one of these games been a slam dunk, a 3-4-5-0 probably, but it looks like these guys have never played together before.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like, dude. That's exactly it.
It's just silly. I mean, like, I get you want all your good guys out there, but unfortunately, you just have too many good guys on paper. So, for me, rather than try and force Trent into the midfield, I would probably start him over Walker. His natural position. He can play the same way he plays at Liverpool by bombing down the wing. Saka likes to cut in more anyway. He can get down there, throw the crosses into Harry Kane. Kyle Walker does a fantastic job at that right back and, provides a lot. But I think it's just, it doesn't have to be that your spot is locked because you won the league or you won the Champions League or you've had that spot unlocked for a few years. It's okay, maybe start that way, but then when that doesn't click or just to freshen something up in the middle of a game that's gotten a little stale, make some switches. And we kind of saw that when Harry Kane came out and Ollie Watkins came in and Eze came in and you know, Gordon's 1 minute. You know, it was some energy and something different that looked like it could have produced more goals. Certainly, at least more threat.
You know what Anthony Gordon did the first touch on the ball in that game?
Tried to go by a guy.
Tried to fucking fly by the guy, and
right away.
First thing, it sucked, and I get it because it's like he came in so like savior like Anthony. You got 1 minute.
But he came in too with like no time left in the game to really.
He came in at the 89th minute, and they gave +5, but it was again, it was asking a lot. So here's my hopefulness, or else England's going to lose this game. Okay, they start Gordon at left wing. They go Kane and Saka. They drop Foden down to the 10 role right behind Kane, and they got Jude and Declan behind Foden as true sixes. Okay.
Yeah.
Put Walker on the left. Why not? It can't be worse than Trippier, right?
Probably not.
It can't be worse.
It's probably between Walker and Trippier on the left. I don't know. I think you're fine either way. Like you're going to get similar performance from both.
I don't think it matters. I think you can cover that side with either of them. Put Stones in Guehi and then put Trent as right back. This is what Southgate should have done. Game 1, dude. Game 1. And now they're going to sit here against Slovakia. That's who they got up next.
That's who they got.
Who just beat Belgium. Who put up a fight to get into knockouts. If you ask me right now, who's got more fight in them, who wants this game more before it even began, it's Slovakia. I would take Slovakia right now.
I mean, I'd agree with you. Like, you can't tell me that, they don't have more fire and desire than England. Like they're making it into the knockout rounds, from the third place too. So it's like they almost nearly didn't make it, right? So they have this kind of renewed hope, and I think as their coaches will watch the tape against all the England games and stuff, I think you'll probably see that this English team is kind of void of any real threat or like creative action. If you sit back a little bit, you got to kind of play the counter game. You're not going to really go toe to toe with England, but I think you go into that game feeling pretty confident, and I think you maybe make it a little bit of a rough game and knock England off their pace a little bit more, and I would love to see it, honestly.
I would too, and it just, England plays fine when they're trying to score, but once they stop trying to score, once they go up 1-0, they essentially just give the ball to the other team and say, we're just going to really sit here. So if Slovakia goes down 1-0, that's almost worse for England in the long run if they're playing the same way. So that's a game I could potentially see going to extra. I could see it going to PKs and them losing them. I think if England's, I don't want to say their best chances to get to PKs, obviously, with all that talent, but I don't know. I don't trust them at all.
No, yeah, it's just a shame to put all that talent to waste, honestly.
Yep. This is such a crazy talented squad, and we're gonna.
Yeah.
Again, if they win, you've proved me wrong, but I don't know who they'd go. Who would they have next if they win that game? Then they'd go against Switzerland or Italy, and then I would be back on like the fence again. They have, Chad, they have possibly the easiest road to the finals here.
So it's written in the stars that they're gonna fuck it up right now. Like
the left side of the bracket looks way more difficult than the right side.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god, man! Have we talked about any other teams in Group C yet?
Not specifically.
Yeah, well,
but they were mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Denmark, I think, has been a little bit of a disappointment for me. Expected a little bit more.
Yeah.
They have some talent there, but just not really I think they kind of lost their underdog fight a little bit that we saw in recent tournaments. But
Hoyland needs to get some more years under him, and then I'll trust him again. They need a new 10. Eriksson will probably be gone by the next time around.
Yeah.
I wish it was Norway instead.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
yeah, I mean, I think Norway will find their way here soon. I hope so. I mean, it'd be a shame if both Holland and Odegaard can do so well in league play, but then never really see any top tier tournament play for the national team. Yeah.
Group D.
That's kind of all I had. Yeah. Oh, Group D. We pegged Austria to win the thing from the start, right?
Of course. I can't get enough of Alexi Lawless telling us how Austria. No one should ever doubt Austria. I won't lie. Good shout. They are another one of those teams who have that never say die mentality and just want it more. Mm-hmm. Dude, there's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of those teams right now.
Yeah.
It's the new talent doesn't mean everything. So.
Yeah, I mean it's like we were talking just yesterday or whatever, and it's that like there's so much just dark horse underdog energy left in this tournament that I think we're certainly going to see a couple more upsets along the way, and I hope we do get one of these smaller teams go pretty far, and just even if they don't make it to the final, just have a great run into the quarters at least, and I'd love a semifinal with an Austria or someone who's just like fighting tooth and nail to keep this dream alive.
So are we ripping on England too much for where they are? But we look at France.
France is on my list. Okay, France is on my list. Don't worry.
They're on the shitter list. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I mean, you look at again the talent on that team, and none of these games really impressed me. Opening game, I think France looked better than Austria, but you only won by an own goal, right? Okay, your next game is against Netherlands. Your probably toughest challenge here, and 0-0, and
that was their worst game. No Mbappe. They looked a little attackless.
Arguably, could have maybe sort of lost this game if that goal doesn't get called back, right? So
unfortunate. Really unfortunate there. I don't think Magnan was going to save that ball. That was a rocket hit by Xavi and who was it? Was it Denzel who was impeding offside? But dude, that's
like I understand the rule, but they gotta look at it with a little more context. I think of like, can the keeper actually make this save? And I guess your answer to that is that a keeper could potentially have this lightning quick performance of his life to save that, but come on.
I think this is Anthony Taylor's game, so I wonder if that was the play that I was referring to where he didn't look at it. I don't think he looked at it. I think that was all VAR. That kind of
it could have been that one,
right?
Yeah, I mean it is surprising. For me, it's like I don't think VAR should ever just have the full jurisdiction on something. It should always come from the center ref. So even if it gets to the point where VAR is asked to check something or wants to overturn something, I think you just have to send the ref to the monitor. I get it'll take some time, but if it's as clear as VAR may think it is, then it should be a quick look and all right, done, and resume the game. But I don't know. France, they didn't really. They felt a little Englandy to me, honestly. Where it's just I didn't feel like they were ever really going like full speed, full force, and
I don't think they needed to prove that. That's my argument for like why
fair.
France isn't getting this like totally negative review for how they did in the group. No Mbappe, right, for one game. Second game,
Yeah.
like you don't really know how well he's feeling. I'm sure he'll be fine in the Belgium game. But what does France have to prove right now? Not a whole lot, right?
Yeah.
England
but I
has
mean,
a lot to prove, I think. For
yeah,
their own
I'd agree with
personnel,
that.
especially Southgate. And so I think France is cruising. I think, man, I think they're gonna smack Belgium. I don't see Belgium winning that game.
Yeah.
I think Belgium will score.
And then it'll get called back.
No, I'm not going to say they'll get called back. I think they'll score. I've De Bruyne putting in a goal. I don't think he'll get knocked out of this tournament without scoring a goal in their knockout game.
Mm-hmm.
This has like Mbappe hat trick written all over it. Just be like, see, y'all were stressing about me. It does.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Belgium.
Yeah.
Sucks. I wish they were in this group so we could shit on them too. But
yeah, I mean, I guess you make some good points. Like France is a known good team. You know, went to the World Cup final and you know played very well there. And you know, I just think them coming in second in the group looks pretty bad. But hey, that might be the little bit of the spark they needed to be like, okay, this is serious, and then they turn it on now in this next round against Belgium.
I don't think they thought Austria would beat the Netherlands. So
it's fair.
So with that, France would have been even on top with Netherlands. So I guess it would have came down in goal differential in the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think Netherlands are the ones with the biggest red flag on them right now. I mean, they have a lot of talent too, and I don't know. I feel like the product they've been putting on the field, it looks okay. It doesn't look bad. I mean, without Gakpo, how many goals have they scored? Two, yeah. So I mean, Depay and Weghorst.
Yeah, it's they've certainly been. I don't know. I wasn't overly disappointed with their performance up until the Austria game.
Yeah, that game was all over the place, though. Again, they wanted it more, right? It felt like Netherlands already thought they were in.
Yeah, I mean,
Austria,
you look at the Poland game, and they go down first, but they respond pretty quickly, and pretty well controlled that game for the rest, and grab a second later on. Game against France, of course, is tighter. Not as in control, and could have very well had a winner there. And then the Austria game, I think, it just came down to who wanted it more, and Austria had it. They were really well orchestrated, I guess, by tactics and all that. And, I think Netherlands just kind of got sleeping a little bit. Like Sabitzer's goal was, he just kind of drifted on that side and then made the run, and he's wide open, and, it's a tight angle, so it takes a great shot, but if there's anyone on that team to make that shot, it's probably going to be Sabitzer, and you got to keep an eye on him,
Yeah, he looks nice right now. Very confident on the ball.
Yeah, so, and I know, Austria got an own goal in that, which came early, so, it kind of upset the flow, probably for Netherlands from the jump, but I don't know. It felt like it should have been a Netherlands, not cruise, but I think a more straightforward win. But I like seeing an upset. I like the drama of kicking, a big team into third and seeing if they can survive. And
Yep.
yeah, that's who they got next here?
Romania.
Romania. Like that Austria game should be a big lesson and wake up call to this Netherlands team that. Especially now you're at the point where all these teams are going to fight to the death. So you can't have these little lapses in defense, and you gotta get your strikers scoring goals. And I don't know. It's Netherlands is another one where I feel like they're kind of in a weird, almost transition period, right? Like I felt like it was Van Persie and Robin for so long, right? And they obviously age out, and there's some promising players here, but I don't know. There's something's just missing, right? Like it's
a true 9 that'll play the whole game.
Yeah, probably that. Where
Weghorst has 38 minutes right now in this tournament.
I still think you maybe just start the guy.
I do too, but I think it's too late for them to start trying to do that now. I think Romania winning Group E and having to go against Netherlands is just.
We also all predicted that, right?
Romania. Name one player on Romania.
Dragusin,
let's go. That's what I got too. Yeah, that's all I got. Unfortunately, I need to learn some Romanians. But you want to move to Group E?
Yeah,
Poland,
I mean, what a crazy group.
Poland needs to hit the hard reset. Sorry, buddy.
My ancestry one day.
Yeah. They need Lewandowski to retire, and they need to move forward with a whole new squad. Build around Kiwier, right?
Yeah, he looked pretty good. Yeah, but yeah, Group E. I mean, thank you, Belgium, for making an exciting group. Honestly, that should have been a battle between who's second and third. But Belgium said, no, we're here for the entertainment. We're here for the drama. Let's get everyone in on this.
Oh, why couldn't Ukraine win that game?
Oh, wow.
Dovbyk had, man, another late shot at the end of the game where I bet he wishes he could do it again. And he probably would have sunk it, because that would have been the nail in Belgium for second. They would have been at 3 points with a 0 goal differential, which would have I think they would have snuck in. They would have beat Hungary and Ukraine. They would have beat Ukraine by 1 goal.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, I mean, this was just like I feel like I shouldn't be surprised with Belgium in that it's been the golden generation for so long, and that kind of failed and petered out, and like this is the last remnants of it, and they haven't really performed for a long time. But I think going into this, just looking at the other teams in your group, that should be a cakewalk for you.
It was set up to be.
Yeah.
And that first game, losing 1-0 against Slovakia, that was another. Oof. And then how bad did they look after their last game with Kevin De Bruyne?
Oh my gosh.
Giving the talk with the cameraman, and then their head coach decided to come push the cameraman away? Like, what?
Yeah.
Why did he do that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess you're trying to maybe just keep everyone focused, right? No external distractions, but like...
Chad, I don't think anyone even noticed that camera there. I mean, there's cameras everywhere, so. Right? The coach made it a deal when
these players, probably don't.
Deal.
The players probably don't even see the cameras at this point anymore. Like, they probably don't even hear much of the fan noise anymore, right? Like, they're professionals. They've been doing this for however long in front of tens of thousands of fans every week. But I mean, yeah, that was just weird and just kind of a bad look almost of like, things are maybe very shaky in the Belgium camp, and whether that's the players too or just the coach, I don't know. But I mean, the camera guys, it's not like he's recording tactical boards or anything or anything, super important to the game. It's probably just De Bruyne saying like, all right guys, like, we got through this. We need to like tighten this shit up and really play our game because this is unacceptable. The normal like rallying cry and refocusing. Like, I don't know. Just they certainly need that because in so many of these games, I think have been outplayed.
Very much so. Kevin De Bruyne looks like the only one. For moments, Trossard. Okay, He looks nice. Kevin De Bruyne is Kevin De Bruyne.
Yep. Lukaku has his moments, but he's
just like
he's missing. Yeah, he's missing the easy goals that he needs to score, which is nothing new. And then the goals he does score get called back because he's offside by a smidge.
Literally a smidge. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. This France-Belgium game, France, I believe, will smack them if Mbappe is on it, which he should be.
I think he will be.
I would love to see the odds on this game, but I just can't. This is it for Belgium. They lose this game, and it's a hard reset.
Yeah.
Right? But if they win it, I don't know, man. Kind of opens the door. If they beat France, they're either going against Portugal or Slovenia, and then they're probably going to get smacked by Germany or Spain. But at least they got past France. Like this is definitely it's a make or break game. This one for I guess the World Cup. If this team does not beat France, this team will look incredibly different by World Cup time.
Yeah, as they probably should at that point. Like,
yes,
it's you've kind of had this team run its course, and I think if you can get De Bruyne to stick around, I think that's the one you maybe need to keep.
35-year-old De Bruyne for the World Cup.
Yeah, like even if he's not playing the full 90, I think he's probably a good enough leadership figure to. I mean, you saw the talk he was giving the team post game here. I think he's good enough to bring along, play what he can, and just kind of be that leadership figure. But
yeah, there's just not a lot of good Belgians right now.
No, yeah, they're kind of at a low period, I think, of their talent pool. But I mean, you look at Opinda. He came in that was the first game, second game, and provided some of the most energy, right, and was making good threatening runs and causing chaos. And it's similar to the English players when your Ollie Watkins and Cole Palmer and all those guys came in. It was just a younger, different energy that spiced up the game a little bit for them. And I thought we were going to see more of him, and then you just never really saw him again.
7 minutes.
That's ridiculous.
That's it. I know.
I get you don't. These managers don't want to change a ton between games in group play, but I think tournaments are, as much as there's tactics and personnel involved, you also need to kind of ride the luck and ride the form sometimes. And if a guy goes out there and is making a name for himself in 7 minutes, all right, you get out there. Anthony Gordon steps out there. His first touch of the ball is to try and run past the defender, something no one else on your team has been doing. Okay, get back out there. They got to have a little more trust and faith in their guys, I think.
They got way too ego inflated after scoring 14 goals in qualifiers against the likes of Estonia and Azerbaijan and whoever else they were playing against. It was I don't know. I think their eyes are open now that some things are just not what they expected, and I think France is going to remind them of kind of where they are in the world rank. They're number 3. Is that right? Number 3 in the world.
That's what they say. Yeah, I felt that was always pretty generous. I think they're still riding on that like golden generation, coattails, but
they must not watch WoW Fast enough, because there's no way you make that team number 3 in the world with that guy as your center back.
I don't know. He starts every game for him somehow.
I can't wait to have him back in Premier League next year.
Yeah, he's a weird one for sure. He's every time we watch him, I think we're on the same page that he looks like such a liability and almost always proves to be a liability, but somehow always finds his way into the starting lineup. I don't know.
It's chaos.
Like,
it's chaos.
You got Vertonghen. I know Vertonghen's at the later stages of his career, but like I'd trust him more in center back than
100%. 100% more. Bring back Toby Alderweireld.
Get the band back together. Let's go. Maybe that's the thing, is they tried the golden generation when everyone was young, kind of entering their prime. Maybe it was never meant to be that way. It was meant to be like the old gold generation, right?
The golden boys.
We're all late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s. On paper, you should be blowing by us, but like we're cooking now. We're seasoned veterans. We don't want to mess around with these like drawn out 90-minute stressful games. We're gonna kick 6 in right away and call it good. I don't know. Maybe it was worth a shot.
Oh, well, I don't think.
But I will say, Group E gave me one of my favorite moments so far of the tournament.
Oh, fun. What was it?
Romania, Slovakia, playing against each other last day.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was like officially decided, but I think they were on the same page of like a draw helps both of us. So at a certain point, game kind of like stopped. And then game ends in a draw, and it's like everyone in the stadium is celebrating. Romania's going through, Slovakia's going through. It was great. Both teams are celebrating like crazy. Fans are celebrating like crazy. There was no disappointment in that stadium. It was just everyone on the same page of like, shake hands, we helped each other, let's move on.
For sure. We still have Group F to go, but this tournament has been so fun just from the outside looking in. I was trying to like think about how Copa is right now in America versus Euros, and it'd be like having Copa in like the state of Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
You got 24 nations with just the neighboring states right around you coming in. And with Copa, you're basically going from Portugal to Russia for your games. So it's just like that the distance of traveling and how teams are, the stadiums are walking distance, but they can't be more than an hour and a half apart from each other. 2 hours at the most, maybe. Germany's not that big. So it's just I don't know, man. I love how everyone is there. I love watching the fans having just a blast. The memes that have come out of it with fans interacting with each other. I've only seen like one bar fight from the videos that I've watched. So kudos to the hooligans keeping it somewhat good. It just looks fun. I mean, it looks so fun.
How could you not have a great time? It's summer, you're in Germany, beer's flowing, footy every single day. Like,
what a difference from Qatar.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, yeah, I'm with you though. Like, I hope and pray that somehow U.S. can bring some of that for the World Cup, but it's just so hard.
I don't know if it'll be the same.
It's just it's not tight enough. I think some of the group host cities can maybe get that way, but again, it's like typically here, it's like suburb and then stadium is over there, whereas like here it's stadiums are kind of right in or around the town, so everyone's in this concentrated area. Fun to watch. I want to be there. I want to experience that. I hope it happens a little tiny bit for the World Cup, but not really holding my breath.
Yeah, hard to compare the two. But
yeah.
All right, one more table, Chad. Group F.
Group F.
Let's just start with the shitter. I think Portugal earns that reward, despite being one of the first two teams to make it to the knockout rounds. Third game against Georgia, really hard to gauge, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have... I'm just going to go through the starting 11 for that game and pick out who I didn't see. Despite his age, no Pepe, okay? No Ruben Diaz, no João Cancelo, no Bruno Fernandes, no Bernardo Silva. João Felix looked nice in this game. I liked his look. Neto, I think he's.
I don't like him on the left, honestly.
I don't either, and I don't. I honestly, I like him better as a sub for this team. Make him come in. Make him come in later when everyone's legs are heavy, and I think that's when you'll see kind of him flourish for international play right now for what this Spanish team is trying to do. So it's hard to say what this game would have been if they played their true starting 11. Can't take that away from Georgia, though. Georgia played their asses off. Awesome game. Do you want to talk about our goal scorer?
You're trying to make me say his name. Yes, goal scorer. They said it so much. I should have listened closer. Kvaratskhelia.
That was pretty good.
I think it's pretty close. I think it's pretty close.
Yeah. I don't even want to attempt it. That was great.
My God, what it was? Landon Donovan was also commentating.
Bro,
I think
he was hurt.
He was struggling. He was giving a good effort though. So shout outs Landon for trying.
I know if you're listening, you can't see me, but he was 100% looking at the paper like this and zooming in on it and just being.
I hope he had it written out like phonetically and was trying to piece it all together, but it didn't sound like it.
He tried.
But I mean, yeah, what a great game and a really fun performance, I think, from Georgia in pretty much every game they played.
Yep.
They went up against one of the best, right? In Ronaldo and Portugal. They have had some success in recent years, and I think for the most part, maybe not. I don't know if I'd say outplayed, but outwitted them tactically with just like their counters were just blazing fast, and Portugal just never learned.
Yeah, Portugal played a weird game defensively, as well as offensively. Like their whole game plan was just odd. Ronaldo, man, he's just. It doesn't look like he's not being Ronaldo. Like it looks like he's still doing Ronaldo things. It looked like Portugal just struggled to find him.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an opposing team against Portugal, your first assignment is probably block out Ronaldo, right? Like, so he's gonna take a lot of that, but they also don't. Portugal doesn't really capitalize on that. Like, Ronaldo's gonna have this gravity that pulls probably two-ish defenders to him constantly, at least, somewhat close in proximity, and you kind of got to play off of that and, utilize that as a weapon, but they just didn't. The times they did find him, I think they didn't really give him too much of an opportunity to do anything with it. Like, it seemed like he was always getting the ball in just like a tight, overcrowded spot, or the random kind of cross in.
He did get held a lot though. I went back and watched a couple of those, and I was like, that was a lot. That was a lot of holding they were doing on him, to the point where I do think it maybe could have been a PK.
That one specifically that you're talking about, I think
the more I watched it, the worse it it kept looking.
Yeah, I think that one deserved, a better. I don't know if it was checked, but if it wasn't, at least, or if it was a better second look.
I believe it was. I believe it was a quick VAR check, and they said Ronaldo was holding his arm too, so it negated it. but I don't think Ronaldo was holding him. I think he was trying to stabilize himself from getting pulled down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That was the one where I was like, that was kind of sketch.
Yeah, but they just played kind of weird. Like I said when we were talking about it during the game, like they got to that late stage where they're going for goals and just playing like to cross the ball in. Okay, Ronaldo should be out there still. Then that guy has a crazy jump, and it's capable enough to score with his head. If not try and do some bicycle kick or something. Like,
yep.
It was just, I think for them is they were through already, so it was a little bit of that like rotate and protect guys that were on yellows and
not Polina though.
Yeah, that was a big risk.
That was a crazy risk. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, credit to Polina for playing a very smart and reserved game. But I mean, yeah, I think if this was like the full strength Portugal, I think it certainly would have been a different game. But hey, Georgia took advantage of the team that Portugal put out, and gave it their all, and had some great goals in there, and yep. That's a huge win. I forget the numbers, but it was, I think Georgia's ranked 74 or something, and Portugal's six or 9 or something.
Yep.
So like, I think that the biggest upset or something, technically.
Biggest upset in Euro tournament history. Georgia, this is their first Euro.
And this is their first, right? Yeah.
First Euro tournament ever. It's their first victory ever.
Well,
so they checked off quite a few things.
Yeah, if you're gonna get your first victory in a Euro tournament, like what better way to do it than against one of the top high. European? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I'm excited to see them keep going. Spain, I think,
should be fun.
Probably be too much, but I think the Georgians will give it their all and fight tooth and nail to get something out of that game and take it as far as they can.
Their sporting director in their first game, I believe they scored in their first game. They did. Almost breaking down in tears just watching his team score. And I was like, damn, like that's why we love this game.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yep. So kudos to y'all. That was a beautiful moment to see y'all beat Portugal, and then to have all right, Chad, it's my turn. I'm gonna go first name only. Kavicka.
Sure.
We'll do that. At the end of the game, he went super pumped, and first thing he did was went up to Ronaldo and said, "We'll see you again," most likely.
Yeah.
And then went and celebrated with his team. So good head on his shoulders, dude. Only 23 years old and playing for Napoli and absolutely killing it. He'll be on a big team, a bigger team. Even though Napoli's solid, right? But the Madrids are calling.
Yeah. He's got a lot of eyes on him for sure.
City's probably calling. Then we gotta hit him.
Maybe he'll be the player that is like, City? No. I want to go to like a respected team and actually play, not get stuck behind Phil Foden or something. Like
we're Stoke.
Yeah.
Who are other teams in this group? Man, what a just
we had Turkey. Actually, they kept saying
Turkey.
Turkey and Czechia.
Czechia, that's right.
So
Czechia, they still go by Czech Republic for English, but Czechia is the natural language that Czechs speak.
Okay.
So that's where that comes from. Turkey, I believe that's pretty new in the last year and a half. That's kind of what they wanted to be represented by.
Okay.
Works for me.
Yeah.
That was a crazy game.
Oh my gosh. I didn't watch it, but like...
Yeah, should.
But I mean, I saw everything afterwards, and the 18 cards or something.
I think there were more because I counted
more.
I counted before the game was over. So I'm counting right now. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 2 reds.
20. Whew.
That ref lost control.
Clearly. Yep, you could say that.
Just looking at the Who Scored. Do you have their Who Scored open?
No, but I can real quick.
Go to Who Scored and just go to the match center and just with the player ratings, and it is very colorful. It's honestly hard to look at with how many cards are just spread across the field.
Go back.
Yeah, just a feisty game. I feel bad for Czech because Czechia, they just. Oh man, they played decent pretty much this whole tournament. 2-1 against Portugal, a draw against Georgia, and then a 2-1 against Turkey. But getting that red card in the 20th minute, that set them up for failure. And it's
in a match between Czechia and Turkey.
It was a red card for sure. He stamped him in the ankle pretty good, but it happens, man. And that was a tough group. That was a really hard group. That was probably one of the. If Portugal had played better, I think we could call that the toughest group. I think it's arguably the toughest. The Spain, Italy, Croatia one was
that was going to be my only other one, really.
It probably should have been Austria, France, Netherlands, Poland.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's, Georgia probably came in way underestimated since relatively new and, first major tournament. I think, you make a good point that it was almost a group of death situation.
Took us till the end to realize it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean,
again, someone almost did die. It was going that way. 20 cards, insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I get the stress and everything that reffing can be, but at this stage and at this level, you have to be able to have some control on the game, and I'm glad this happened in a group stage and not, in a knockout round, but that is not a good look for that ref and his team.
Well, and Turkey lost Kalinoglu, the Inter Milan.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Caden, the person who scored the really unfortunate own goal. So they're not in this next game. Again, I understand why you had to play those guys, but everyone had to be so careful not to pick up yellows.
Yeah.
And they said, absolutely not. We're going to do the opposite.
Yeah, certainly some interesting choices in this last match day with who you're trying to protect, who you're not. But I get it for Turkey, but I don't know if it will have been worth it now. I mean, you didn't know how that game was going to play out, but you're missing some big names now.
Yep, another big name just to keep your eyes on the suspension. Calafiori, the Italian who got the assist.
Yeah.
Jonathan Tah from Germany. Morten Højlund from Denmark. Patrick Weimer from Austria. Nikusa Banku. And Eric Johnson. Honestly, I'm not really worried about everyone else I just said, but I think Turkey made the biggest mistake with those two. So,
yeah. Who they got? Oh, Turkey, Austria next. Okay, that'll be a fun one, though. I think they both might see a path to the final here, honestly. It's that they're on that quote-unquote weaker side. I think they gotta probably feel like they have a good shot to at least get to the final, right? Whoever goes through this first round, you're coming up against Romania or Netherlands. Depends what Netherlands shows up. But Romania will have that same energy to just keep fighting to survive, right? And then I don't know. It could be England, Switzerland, Italy, maybe Slovakia. I don't know. Some interesting runs I think will happen here.
Do you want to do a quick who you think who will win these games here?
Okay.
And I have my bracket that I did for Waffles Pool, which you'll laugh at the teams that I have in here.
Oh no.
A little off.
It's okay.
Not too far off though, but a little off.
All right.
Let's do the actual round of 16, and then I'll show you my hypotheticals for each team as we go through. I'm gonna have yours on one side, mine on the other. And we'll go left side first. So, Spain or Georgia?
Spain. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Going with the head, not the heart.
Yeah.
Germany, Denmark.
Germany.
I'm in agreement. Portugal, Slovenia.
Probably Portugal. They should get it together.
France, Belgium.
I think France for sure. If Belgium pulls it out, Kevin De Bruyne gave the greatest team talk in existence.
Is this the game you're most confident in?
For Belgium or just my pick?
Out of the whole round of 16. It ain't far off.
Probably. I think the only other one that I feel like is a slam dunk is Spain over Georgia, but
yeah, Yep. Romania, Netherlands.
I think Netherlands will pull it out.
Man, if they don't, yeesh. Okay, I think this is where we're gonna hit maybe a snag. Maybe Austria, Turkey.
I'm gonna go Austria.
Yeah, me too. England, Slovakia. Yeah.
I want it to be Slovakia, but I think it'll take at least into extra time. But I think it'll be England.
I'm putting that down.
Yeah, because I think Slovakia will be maybe a little bit more hesitant to make the changes just because they want to keep their strongest team out there as long as they can. And then, I'm assuming we're going to see the same England team start that we have, but then those subs that come in are the ones that have the energy, right? So you're going against a tired Slovakia maybe at that point. So I think England will pull it out. I think it'll be late, though.
I really, really don't want to write England down, but I did. I don't want to, but I did.
Yeah.
Switzerland, Italy. This is probably the toughest choice.
Yeah.
I have Italy in my survivor pool, but I'm picking Switzerland.
Yeah. I think I'm going Switzerland as well. It looks like they have a little bit more fight in them than Italy has, and
a little more chemistry.
I think if Italy can play up to their level, I think they should get by Switzerland, but I don't think it'll be easy a game either way.
Yeah, that could be a PK game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, our takes are the same, which isn't a huge surprise.
All right. No, at this point, not. No, yeah.
I think when we get to the next round, if everything holds true as what we said, then we'll see Spain, Germany, Portugal, France, Netherlands, Austria, England, Switzerland. And that is where the fun will truly begin. Chad, just to give you a rundown of my knockout, and by the way, this had to do with my groups, right, and who was going to move on. I had Portugal versus Scotland, France versus Ukraine.
Knockouts?
I had Scotland moving on.
Wow. All right.
I had France versus Ukraine, which was pretty close.
Nearly.
Germany versus Serbia. So I had Serbia instead of Denmark. Spain versus Romania. So I would have had, if Romania wouldn't have won group, that would have worked out. I had England against Turkey. Switzerland versus Croatia, which didn't happen. Belgium versus Italy, and then Netherlands versus Georgia. So Scotland, Ukraine, and
you
Croatia.
got most of the teams, just
different positions. Man, how many did I only get 3 wrong?
I think so.
That's not bad.
Serbia, Scotland, and Ukraine.
Yeah.
Okay. Not too shabby.
No, not bad. But my picks were not great.
Well, that's always the hard part.
All right, Chad. I have my team here, but you know what? I decided I'm not going to read it on camera.
Ooh, okay.
We'll discuss it post-pod.
I like it.
Shall we meet back after the round of 16 and vent?
I'm hoping it's a continued criticism of England.
Yeah. Wouldn't shock me if it isn't. So that means we'll probably meet up July 3rd. You're still in town?
I leave the 3rd, so it'd be
maybe the 2nd.
The night of the 2nd, yeah.
Tuesday, July 2nd. I will be seeing the United States men's American team play Uruguay and Kansas City on Monday. We just bought tickets today. We're going to have some very nice seats. Decided to splurge a little. Found out Kristen was working that day, so I was like, oh, we're leaving early. Yeah, we're going. The game today was rough, so now this game matters. I didn't think it was going to matter, unfortunately. Yeah. But now we might get a good game against a pretty decent Uruguayan squad. So I'm excited. Yeah. Hopefully Matt Turner's playing.
Panama. I think it'll be good. Like, Panama it was always going to be one of those just like rough, really dodgy games, right? Like,
bogey game.
I think the reffing certainly didn't help, but I think Uruguay, we can not really go toe-to-toe maybe, but they're going to want to play as much as we're going to want to play.
It'll be a test.
And I think, honestly, all I want from this Copa is U.S. to show up in good capacity against the South American teams. We've played the CONCACAF teams time and again. We know they're more often than not just a shit show, right? But if we're going into a World Cup, I want to see us play against some actual competitive teams in games that matter, and Uruguay is certainly one of them. So I think it'll be good. I want to see a good performance. So I'm glad you're going to be there. That'll be fun, though.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked. It'll be really fun. It'll be the first USA game that matters that I've been to. So
there you go.
All right, Chad. It's been a pleasure as always. Check back with you on the pod
in like a week.
In like a week's time. So it'll be quick. Yeah. Quick turnover. All right. With that, the Hooligans pitch. We're out.
Peace.